Good evening, legends. Happy Thursday. Hope you have had a wonderful day. Welcome to this special live webinar, the Food Fiasco, the 5 secrets no one is telling you, no one wants you to know. Really grateful that you've joined me tonight. I'm sure you've had a big day, so really grateful for everyone that joins these webinars for putting your time aside. I'm here a few minutes early, as you guys already are here too. Thanks to Angela, Debbie, Hugh, Katrina, Meredith, Michaela, Tony, Wendy, a few more on there as well. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I really hope tonight's webinar is the icing on the cake for your day. Now, look, if you've had a great day, let me know about it. Before we actually start the webinar, why don't you write down what's been great in your day already? I've had a great day. I started work a little bit later today. I got into Bohemian Rhapsody on the piano. I love learning the piano, and I was doing some Queen this morning. It's not normal for me to start my day that late, but tell you what, I had a ball. What else did I do today? I had some good time with the family. I had a good chat with my dad, which you know, it doesn't happen as much as it probably could, but it was good to have a chat with Dad, and I got adjusted by my beautiful Cairo, my beautiful wife. Got a great adjustment, so that was awesome. I'd love to know what happened in your day today. Wendy says, hello, Marcus. Wendy says, oh, yum. Debbie says, I've just been making some lemon bliss balls in my thermo. Nice work, Debbie. If that's Debbie T on the Gold Coast, nice work. The time is Sydney time. I was worried I'd miss the start. No, you're good, Debbie. Yeah, it's always a bit tricky. When you put the initials in of the time, people go, what are those initials like AEDT and AWST, XYZ? So I just put in the city, and then I kind of hope that makes sense, but, you know, doesn't always work that way. Yeah, so now there's one thing I just want to mention before I get started, because I know I'll forget it if I don't. If you're on the email list, you'll know about it. But if you're free and if you're wanting to come along, Saturday, March 28 on the Gold Coast, I'm running an event with Sam Gowing. It's a 6-hour event. It's called Exceptional Food, Health, Wealth. Again, if you're on the email list, you'd already know about this. If you're not, though, and you are Gold Coast, Brisbane, New South Wales, or you want to escape to the Gold Coast for a weekend, we're having it at the QT, which is a beautiful hotel on the Gold Coast, doing all things food, health, wealth, as the name suggests. So that's Saturday, March 28. I think Debbie, if that is the Debbie that I think it is, I think you're coming along, Debbie. Heather Lee, hi MP, hi Heather. Great to have you on board, Heather. This is a little bit exciting. Nice work, Heather. Debbie says, I bought some cheap sketches to keep in my locker at work so I can walk in my lunch hour. Nice work, Debbie. Is that what you did today? That's a good part of the day. Well done. Very good. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I'll just give people a little bit longer. God, look at all those people on here. Claire, Cara, Emma, Kerry, Meredith, Melanie, Karen, Katrina, Mel, Rebecca. Nice work, guys. All right. Well, it's 8 o'clock, eh? So why don't I get underway? I will get the slides up. There's lots more people coming on board every second because it's just ticked past 8 o'clock. I'll get these slides up. Hold on a moment. And we'll get things underway. Let's get that one up here. Move that up to there. Alrighty, come back into Google. Get this up and share that. Alright. No, not that one. Hold on a minute. Where is this one? Food Fiasco. Technology, folks, technology. This is the one I want. Alrighty, hope you can see that on your screen easily enough. Let's get this baby underway. Thursday night, let's kick it off. An official welcome to the Food Fiasco, folks. 5 secrets no one is telling you. Now, I wanted to do this webinar on food because I've been doing so much general life stuff lately. I know there's a few people on here that were at the Wellness Breakthrough, and if you know me, you know I love to talk about life. I don't like to really drill down that much on just one topic because I don't want people to think that the secret to life is one topic, but I do feel the need to really set a few things straight on food. And so, as I said, I've been doing a lot of life presentations lately, but tonight it's all about food, glorious food. So what are we going to go through tonight? Here's what we're going to do. Why no one wants you to be aware of these fiascos. They're not, some of them are obvious, some of them aren't, but why it's important for a lot of people that you're actually kept in the dark. I'm going to go through a stat that you definitely do not want to be a part of, but you are a good chance to be a part of it, which is Not much fun, but if you know about it, you're definitely going to work to not be a part of it. The relieving truth food companies don't want you to know about, but when you do know, you will feel quite relieved. You're going to ideally have clarity on what to eat and what not to eat, clarity on how to eat and how not to eat, and I'll also share my personal daily diet and what gets consumed in the Pierce household from day to day. Now, again, if you're on this webinar, you may know my story, but out of manners, I always like to say out of manners, I share my story whenever I talk because not everyone does, and if I'm a stranger to you, I'd like to become a friend, and obviously by becoming a friend, you're going to get to know me. So a little bit about my story. If you've heard it before, you can block your ears for the next couple of minutes or you can hear it again, whatever you prefer. But in my professional life, I wear two major hats. One of them is as CEO of The Wellness Couch, which is a podcast network. We have 11 shows on a range of different topics in the health and self-empowerment field. At present, we have about 1.5 million downloads a year, so we're quite big in Australia. Always getting bigger. We're just about to add another 2 shows to the network. So The Wellness Couch is a fabulous podcast network. Obviously, I'm biased because I run it. I host 2 podcasts myself. One is called 100 Not Out, Mastering the Art of Aging Well. That's with Dr. Damien Christoph. And another is Inside the Champion's Mind, helping you overcome mediocrity in the pursuit of being world class. Now, I'm a journalist by trade. I have a background in print, radio, and TV, so I'm all about communication. I grew up in my formative years wanting to be the next Eddie Maguire or Bruce McAvaney. I was obsessed with AFL football. Some would say I still am. I'm very excited for the pre-season competition to begin. But I thought that since it was pretty obvious that I would never be a professional player, I would do the next best thing and commentate football. And fast forward a few years, and that's where I found myself. I was working at a place called Channel 9 at the Footy Show. Some people want to kill me when I tell them I work at the Footy Show, and some people wanted to talk about it all day long. But you can see me here. I ended up working with Eddie Maguire, but this photo here is my last day in TV or at Channel 9. And this was with Gary Lyon and James Brayshaw, who currently host the AFL Footy Show. Wendy, if you're on the webinar, we didn't get talking about that at the breakthrough, and I have a feeling you wanted to talk about that. Apologies. But about 15 months before this photo was taken, I met my now wife, Sarah, who really did help me see the light on a lot of things. You girls are phenomenal beings. Sarah is a chiropractor with a big emphasis on a healthy lifestyle, and my lifestyle was anything but healthy when I met Sarah. When we met over in Western Australia, I was a smoker, I was a binge drinker, I had a terrible diet, but I went to the gym, so I thought I was healthy. In the photo that you see on screen now, I was a vegetarian. I'd been veggie for about 6 months, and I thought that was the magic pill to great health. But I still smoked, believe it or not, which, as you can tell, is pretty conflicted in itself. But all jokes aside, going veggie was a big step for me because, as you will see in the next photo, I had not always been into good health. Have a look at me there. This is in 1999. This is my year 12 photo. I can laugh at it now because, it was 15 years ago. But at the time, I'm smiling here, but I probably wasn't laughing all that much. This shows me, and hopefully you, just how average Marcus could have turned out. If I was to go down this path of what I was doing in year 12, I would not be presenting this webinar to you tonight. I was anything but exceptional at the age of 18. I had 2 areas of my life that I can reflect on that I know that I excelled at. One was my life purpose. I knew that I wanted to be a journalist. I had great clarity on what I wanted to do. I was social. I had lots of friends, and that was all great. But, when I look at the areas of the Exceptional Life Blueprint, which I'll share a little bit later, I only had about 2 strong parts of my life. I did not exercise. I ate terribly. I fought regularly with my family. I had no real idea about financial independence. My spirit was entrenched in the Catholic school system, which wasn't a bad thing. I was just somewhat naive about spirituality, as my beautiful wife brings me in a chai tea. Thanks, babe. I struggled to have a girlfriend, which as an 18-year-old is, your worst nightmare. And when I look back at it, if I didn't make the effort to begin learning about exceptional living, I think I would have adopted the belief that, and you can write this down, average is acceptable and mediocrity is manageable. I really think I would have gone down that path. Fast forward to today, and I am definitely a much healthier, happier, more inspired man than I was 15 years ago. But just like that good old Rachel Hunter and the Pantene ad, it didn't happen overnight. It's taken a lot of learning, a lot of application, a lot of mistakes, a lot of heartache, a lot of personal growth. But what's really taken my life to the next level, and this is what I really want to share with you tonight, is a constant curiosity and desire to grow, both personally and professionally. I feel like a lot of people have given up on their desire to grow. The amount of research I've done over the last 12 years, and particularly over the last 5 years, has led me to share the type of information which I'll share with you tonight. As a foreground on tonight's webinar, it's probably important that you really get an idea of what my agenda is. This is me in a nutshell. My personal vision in my own life is to help as many people as possible to live truly exceptional lives and to remove mediocrity from their lives. By exceptional, I'm not meaning mediocre, average, ho-hum, status quo. I cannot stand any of that. I'm truly dedicated to helping people live fulfilling, sensational, magnificent lives that lead by example and leave a legacy that you can be proud of. And I don't just mean exceptional in one area of life, not just your work or your family or your food. This is the fatal mistake many people are making today, and I am 110% determined to help people create more rounded, more multi-dimensional lives. By multidimensional, I truly mean creating an excellent quality of life in these 8 areas, as you see on the screen right now. This in front of you right now is the Exceptional Life Blueprint. I'm not going to go into it now, but as you'll learn tonight throughout the webinar, if all we do is what the mass media tells us and we put all of our eggs into one basket, let's say the food basket, and we might put a couple in the exercise basket, and we forget about the rest, we then set ourselves up for mediocre lives and, more sadly, completely undignified death. But I'm not going to go into the gory details now, but if you take anything away from this webinar tonight, it's don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't think that nutrition is the secret to living, because I know plenty of people that eat well that hate their life or are in toxic relationships, or you get the picture. So the truth is really that we have been shown the way by people who are living exceptional lives today, and there are millions that have gone before us that really have shown us the path. They've left us their clues and their wisdom, and you may even know them yourselves. And this is really what I've dedicated the last 12 years of my life to, putting these clues together into a way of living that anyone can follow. Now, if you have listened to any of my 100 Not Out podcasts, or if you've seen this blueprint before, you know the type of people that I'm talking about. I'll share more about this blueprint at the end of the webinar, but just on what I'm talking about here, if you've got questions, I'm more than happy to answer them throughout the webinar. I will answer most of the questions at the end of the webinar, and then I'll also share with you my own daily food intake as well. But let's really get into the 5 food fiascos, folks. Let's get started. The webinar was really born out of an observation that more and more people are becoming exhausted at the very mention of food. I don't know about you, but a lot of people are just overwhelmed. If you saw the emails that I sent over the last couple of days, you would have seen an article that I linked to showing research that 96% of people are not eating their 5 and 2. Their good old 5 servings of veggies, 2 pieces of fruit. Whilst there's also, if you have a look at that article, and again, you'll see it again, I'll send a summary email at the end of the webinar, 1 in 5 people admit that they actually don't believe they can lead a healthy lifestyle. So they've effectively given up. 4 out of 5 people want it, but only 1 out of 5 believe they're going to get it. In my opinion, the whole landscape around food really has turned into a fiasco. And when I thought about this more, I identified 5 fiascos within society, within the mass media and the food industry, which are impacting every single one of us and our families. And I want to share them with you tonight. So, pens poised, worksheets out. If you've printed the worksheet, if you haven't printed the worksheet, just get a piece of paper, get out a notepad, whatever it's going to be for you, and let us get to work. Fiasco number 1. Let's get this one right out of the way. The diet fiasco. Most people do not want you to have a healthy lifestyle. Diet companies thrive on poor health. Food manufacturers thrive on it. Chemical manufacturers thrive on it. Medicine thrives on poor health. Even some of your friends and family do not want you to be healthy. Have a think about that. You have friends and family, quite possibly, that freak out when you do healthy things, whether it's eating well, whether it's bringing a healthy plate to a dinner or to a party or to a barbecue. I bet you have friends that freak out at your health. Let me put a poll up here. Let's get a quick poll to see if you're confused by the best diet or way of eating, or if you have clarity. Let me put a poll up. Let me run this. Start the poll. We'll make the results public. This is strictly anonymous, right? So you should see up on your screen on the right-hand side this poll. Are you confused by what the best diet or way of eating is? Pop that in there. Look at you girls. Look at everyone here making comments. Heather Lee loved that article and the video. Jody's got a wellness couch pen out. Nice work, Jody. That's right, Debbie. Mediocrity is manageable. That's the problem. Good work. All right. Debbie says, I'm grateful for the whole wellness couch thing, reignited my curiosity, love of learning. So you put your answers in there, folks, for the poll. I'll come to them in a moment. All right, but let's get back to the diet fiasco. As an example of this fiasco, let me use a diet company. Let's pick one like Jenny Craig or Light and Easy or Ultra Slim, whatever it is. Now, think about this. Visualize this. This company, they want you to start something with urgency and intensity. So what do? They advertise to your guilts or your desires, which is your pain or your pleasure, and they tell you that their product will help you get results if you stick to it. Stay on the diet, do the program, and you'll get results. And to begin with, most people normally do. You know, partway through the program, they're going well, they're getting results. But then what happens? What happens? When a challenge strikes, call it, you know, you go to a party or you have a fight with someone, you have an emotional time, you have a big family stress, someone gets sick, whether it's you or a family member, you just have a big life moment, whatever it is, what happens? We fall over, we stop the diet or the program, and then what happens after that? We give up. We give up on this diet or this program. Just don't mind me whilst I have a sip of this chai. And this is what happens. Once someone has given up and is lying down on the canvas feeling all defeated and unworthy, what happens after that? You know what happens? They stay down. They beat themselves up over and over and over until they believe that story so much that it becomes a part of their identity. And it might be things like, I'm a loser, I'm weak-spirited, I have no willpower, I'm not worth it, I'm just fat, it's the way I was born, I'm big-boned, and so on. And you know what? At this stage, you have officially been hooked. You've now been hooked by the products of mediocrity. Some might argue that the products on the screen are beyond mediocrity, but when I mention Macca's and KFC and Hungry Jack's or Burger King and others, the vast majority of loyal customers of these places have a deep subconscious thought that they don't deserve great health. You know, on a conscious level, they actually believe they're mediocre, that they don't deserve greatness. These companies will advertise to you what you deserve is great taste. And these days they will tell you that their tasty food also is a little bit healthy. And whilst you might think the secret ingredients in the secret recipes are a secret, here's what those ingredients really are. Big regrets, guilt, anger, helplessness. This food is laced with frustration, with unworthiness, and so on. And if you're lucky, once the initial depression is done with you, you'll be re-inspired to give it another go. And this does take courage. To get up when you've been knocked down takes a good deal of guts and determination. And this is a phenomenal personality trait. I wish more people had it. But again, diet and lifestyle companies love this. They see more business coming their way. They're licking their lips, rubbing their hands together. And I'm going to out someone here. And this, makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm going to take Michelle Bridges as an example. Some of you here may have done the 12-week body transformation challenge, and let's just use the example that you get 4 weeks into the challenge and then you lose your mojo. You fall ill, someone gets sick, even worse, someone died, you have a friend or family member, whatever, and you stopped. You may have just crumbled, you might have had a weak moment, but you know what? You come back 6 months later, let's say, you're back at it again, you're ready to go, and you go to log into your account and you're ready to do this 12-week challenge again, but then what happens? You log in and you realize that your membership expired, that you actually only got this 12-week body transformation challenge for a limited time, like 12 weeks, and you've got to fork out another $200 again to do the program. If this is me, I'm saying this is some sadistic way of penalizing people for actually, for want of a better term, giving up. Giving up, we all have times in our life where we give up. Why do we have to be injected with any more pain? This is how companies seem to make their money. I mean, Michelle Bridges' empire is worth $67 million. And the message is that if you fall over, you get penalized. You don't actually get to just get up and do it again. You don't have a lifetime access. You actually have to go out and fork out the money again. This happens so often in the health industry. Products or services penalize you for stopping and starting, because they know that human nature is that we are prone to a yo-yo approach. It's been set up that way, and we as the public are the ones that have to work through that. There are other programs out there that put an expiry on your transformation or learning, which frankly, I believe just adds to the belief that a lot of people have that health is a fad. It's a short-term approach. It's not a lifelong lifestyle choice. So now, because we've got this 12-week body transformation that actually expires if we don't get through it, we then are ingrained with this belief that, you know, getting fit or getting in shape is just a 12-week process. I've got nothing wrong with a 12-week course, but why not give lifetime access to it? Because health, movement, exercise is a lifestyle approach. It's a lifetime effort. It's responsible for all time, not just for some time. And, you know, I'm not talking about like PT courses or going to study at university. That's all good and well. I understand why they need expiries and the rest. But when it comes to personal growth of any kind, exercise, diet, finances, life skills, to put an expiry on your learning does, you know, for me, it creates a deep sense of fear and insecurity, which I don't believe is actually healthy. Now, why I say this is I want you to take this note down. Have the pen and paper there or punch it into your phone if you don't have one handy. Take this note down. Health is something that must be owned, not rented. And this is where, you know, things like the Michelle Bridges course and others, when we're being asked to rent it, this is where the big challenge comes. Is your commitment to your food and your health just a sometimes approach? Or have you set it up as a lifestyle approach that you own? Do you need to make some commitments here? Maybe you do. Maybe you need to actually say, you know what, I'm owning my health and I'm never, ever, ever eating McDonald's again or KFC or any, you know, fast food. That just will not be a part of your culture or your identity. Think about maybe an effort that you need to make in order to remove the mediocrity or the renting of health. And maybe you need to take it to the next level. If you're happy to, write down in the comments box a commitment that you feel like you are willing to make based on your health, so that you see that you aren't actually renting your health, you're actually owning it. Maybe it's something like predominantly buying local and seasonal foods. Whatever it is, make a commitment that is right for you. Don't worry about what I think or what someone else thinks. And as I say, pop it in the comments so other people can see what kind of commitments you're willing to make. Just have a bit of think music, have a bit of time, and consider your options. All right. Now let's have a look at this poll, hey? Let's have a look at this poll. I'll close the poll, end the poll. Are you confused? Oh, it's a bit of a 50-50. 54 yes, 46 no. So you can see, I mean, even still, 1 in 2 people are confused by what the best diet or way of eating is. And that's not hard to recognize, is it? Because you look at the diets these days, do you go on paleo? Should you be raw? Should you be vegan? Should you be primal? Should you be, 5 and 2 intermittent fasting? It's a little bit tricky to work out what it is. But, you know, local, seasonal foods, real foods, whole foods, you can't go wrong. Putting yourself into an extreme label, unless you have some serious healing to do. I mean, GAPS is the most extreme healing diet, you know, well, depending on your point of view, but GAPS to heal is a phenomenal diet. But as anyone that's on GAPS will tell you, it's not going to be something that they're going to go on for the rest of their lives. So to heal is one thing, but to think that a way of life has to be this yo-yo is a whole different one. All right, let's get into fiasco number 2, the obsession fiasco. There's an increasing intensity on food, and this is largely due to our traditional media and our social media these days. And now we've created, as a result of this second fiasco, the obsession fiasco. Even worse, I mean, the more research that I've done into this, it just blows my mind. We now actually have a label or a disorder for it. Just having a look at a few of the comments here. I currently buy organic local produce, says Lisa. Have been gluten, dairy, soy free for 2 years. Feel great. Nice work, Lisa. Wendy says, Cara, we can be the jerks. It's such a weird term, jerk, isn't it? You feel like you're about to say jerk and then you put an F in there. What have we got here? They don't really want you to succeed. Yeah, they just want you to be a repeat customer. And again, it's not bad business. You know, as a business person, you know, I often say, I mean, coming from a place where we had a chiropractic business for 6 years, you want loyalty. Every business wants loyalty. But it's the nature of the loyalty which bugs me. Tim says, not sure. Oh, okay. Still have dairy down here. A lot of you are just conversing with each other. This is great. Kerry Collins says, I own my health. Well done, Kerry. All right, let me bring this slide back up. All right, so yes, this disorder, this label is orthorexia nervosa, not anorexia nervosa, orthorexia nervosa. Let's have a look at this. Now, for those of you that know Nat Kringuda, she's a hormone expert, women's health expert, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. She's spoken about this. She's blogged about it, written about it. I'll send you that link in a follow-up email Spa Chef Sam Gowing, who I spoke about at the beginning of the webinar, she has spoken about it. And I'll just, again, before I forget, because I mentioned it at the beginning, but you weren't all on there, Sam and I are doing an event on the Gold Coast at the end of March. I'll talk more about that at the end of the webinar. But many people are now beginning to identify this. It's becoming more and more of an issue as people are becoming so anxious around what they would call unhealthy foods. If you Wikipedia orthorexia nervosa, you'll see it defined as this: an extreme or excessive preoccupation with avoiding foods perceived to be unhealthy. Now, this really ties into the third fiasco, which I'll share for a moment. But, you know, stop for a minute and think about this. I bet you right now, $50, that you know at least one person who would fit this identity of having an extreme or excessive preoccupation with avoiding foods perceived to be unhealthy. It may have even been yourself, either at present or in the past. I was definitely guilty of this in my vegan and non-drinking days. You know, my view is that this orthorexia nervosa has almost become a rite of passage for many people these days. And so it's not such a bad thing per se. When I say that, just hear me out here. It's become a rite of passage. We generally, down this food path, we get to this point where we become evangelical about our food choices. We're telling every single person about it. But what happens is that we become, you know, we tell everyone what they should be eating or how to eat and the rest. But then we become super hard on ourselves. So we're really hard on ourselves. And then what happens is food is no longer fun. It becomes this process with very little or no positive or empowering emotion. And then, but this is where it gets a little bit dangerous, anything, whether it's big or small, that doesn't fit into this view of perfect food, whether it's commercially grown broccoli or a piece of grain-fed chicken or, you know, a frozen pea from China, which is what this lady might be expecting. If that sends us into a state of anxiety that we're not really sure what to do, then this is a problem. This is where it becomes unhealthy. So I'm going to put up a second poll here, folks. Do you feel like you obsess about food more than ever before? So I'm not attempting to diagnose or get an idea of orthorexia nervosa. I just want you to tell me, and again, it's all anonymous, yes or no answer. Are you obsessing more? I'll get this poll. Do you feel like you obsess about food more than ever before? It's just yes or no. It could be healthy. Like, so, as I say, don't take this as like, oh gosh, is this orthorexia nervosa? This could be a healthy, a magnificent obsession, call it. But then when you answer the question, then there's the follow-up question, which isn't the poll question, is do you feel anxious about your food choices? Does it cause you anxiety? Or is there joy in your food choice? And that's what you can put in the comments, whether you feel joy or whether you feel anxiety. If you want to, put that in the comments. But I just want to get an idea of whether you feel like you obsess about food more than ever before. I think in our family we do. We concentrate on it more, we focus on it more, we make more conscious choices. But I definitely think over the last couple of years we've loosened a few of our rules as well so that we don't suffer, I suppose, from that anxiety. And particularly when you've got kids. I think when you've got kids, you possibly suffer from or overstress more about food and your kids and what they put in their mouth more than probably pre-kids. Good try, babe. All right, now the major concern with this fiasco, really, this orthorexia nervosa, this obsession fiasco, really comes down to the grassroots of life, and that is the impact it has on our relationships. Specifically, our intimate relationships. If you've got a spouse that does not share the same views around food, then this can become, a bit too much chai in there. This can become a real sense of stress. I know people myself, whether it's some of my own clients, some of my friends, you know, who no longer socialize because of their views on food. They find it just too difficult. It's just too hard to eat with others, they would say. But they end up eating by themselves. This is what I say. So if they eat by themselves, if they do socialize, they don't eat. But you know, as an extreme example, some people are even a bit more prepared to even, and again, it might sound like I'm embellishing, but they're prepared, they wouldn't put it in their own words, but they're prepared to risk dehydration rather than have the non-filtered tap water on offer. And even though you might go, oh, Marcus, that's just pushing it a bit too far, there are plenty of people out there like that. And this is, you know, this is kind of what leads me into the third fiasco, and I'll bring this up here. This is the problem. The third fiasco is the social fiasco. So this is not just about catching up with people. This fiasco is about, now, as I'll really dive into this fiasco is about your lifespan, your quality of life, and how much you enjoy yourself. And because socializing does seem to be becoming a little, a bit more difficult when it comes to food, this is even more important than ever. During all of my research into exceptional living, this is probably the thing that blows my mind more than the health benefits of being around other people whilst we eat. I think because medicine and science can't really explain this, all I can say is that we know that social people are healthier people, and that's about it. But you can't put a needle or a measuring device on someone and say, oh, look, there's the biomarker for socializing. I can't say hi, Jody, or hi, Debbie, or hi, Wendy, or any of you on the webinar tonight and go, wow, if I just get a pinprick or get a bit of blood and go, yep, we definitely know you've got a great social life. It doesn't come up that way. But I think because it is so immeasurable, we have been led into a false sense of security that it is not actually that important to socialize. There's plenty of people out there now that have got 1,000 Facebook friends, but a lot of us are lucky to have 1 or 2 girlfriends or mates who we catch up with regularly. And this is the problem. We think we've got a social life, but we don't. And so despite this reality for so many people, I'm going to attempt to explain and hopefully outline why having an active social life is just so important. Now, again, if you know my work, you might be familiar with the example that I'm going to share, but this is just, I tell this story so often because I really do think it has to be told over and over again just to show the power of socializing. This story comes out of a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers. If you love to read, it is a ripper. Now, I think it's in the introduction. Gladwell tells the story of Roseto, Pennsylvania. Now, Roseto, Pennsylvania was created by a small group of people who hailed from Roseto, Italy. And in the late 1800s, word had spread that there was opportunity in this country called America, and a small group of about 8 men ventured over and started off in New York. They struggled in New York and then found work at a quarry in Pennsylvania, which was just great because Roseto, Italy had been built around a quarry, so they were used to that type of work. Things went so well in America that dozens and then hundreds of Rosetans from Italy made the move over to the States, and hence Roseto, Pennsylvania, a small town with an Italian population, was born. Their neighbouring towns were French and German, so they even had European neighbours. It was like little Europe, but again, it was during the war, so it became a little bit feisty. Fast forward a few decades, and the 50s were rolling in. America was going through the heart disease epidemic. For years, it was thought that heart disease was just a normal part of aging, that there was nothing you could do about heart disease. But surprise, surprise, younger people started dying from heart disease, and people have twigged that food may have something to do with it, because at this stage, remember that heart disease really started to become a problem a generation after chemical-rich and processed food came on board. Fancy that. I'm being a little bit cheeky though, aren't I? It was when margarine was invented. One day, a medical researcher was on holidays in Pennsylvania, and he caught up with the local GP for a beer. The doctor said he was absolutely fascinated that the Rosetans weren't dying of heart disease like the rest of the country. The researcher was intrigued and discussed, as you would if you're a researcher, doing a research study on the community. What they found was alarming. Their diets were not your typical Mediterranean diet. It was too expensive to import their Italian food. They had American pizzas and white sugar, and they smoked, and they hardly exercised. They really weren't a model of great human health, but they were free of heart disease. So what was happening? How could it be? Was it in the air? That's the question. Was it in the air? No, they checked the neighboring French and German towns and saw similar death rates to the rest of us. What else do you reckon they probably asked? Have a guess? If you're thinking genes, you're spot on. Was it their genes? It was not their genes. And they found out it wasn't their genes by checking the other Rosetans from Italy who had moved to other areas of America, and they had death rates similar to the rest of America. So what do you think it was? It wasn't the other, it wasn't the area. As I said, it wasn't the air, because they went to the other neighboring towns, the Italians and the French and the German towns, and the French and the Germans were dying just like the rest of America. So what they actually did was they effectively gave up on this study. They actually just gave up. They couldn't find the answer until the researcher, whose name was Stuart Wolf, he went for a walk down the streets of Roseto town, and he had an epiphany. He looked around him and he noticed that everything about Roseto was different. People talked to each other. They smiled at strangers. They expressed their joy and happiness. and their sorrow and their challenges. And then Wolf dug deeper and he recognized that there was little class structure in Rosetta. There was no, I don't talk to them because they're on the other side of the tracks or on the other side of the river. They got along with everyone, whether they were rich or poor. There was no class structure. The rich had fun with the poor, and even town gossip was encouraged, but not in a behind your back kind of way. More in a way that, gossip was intended to help the person or family who was struggling. So the more that gossip was spread, the more that, those people would be helped. It was really, I suppose, the way of spreading the news. So Rosetta lived in a loving and close community, and that was his secret. And again, the reason why this story is not so widely known and has to be told in a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and an outlier, really is an exception in medical terms. An outlier is something that defies the norm. But this is such a normal way of living. It's just not, unfortunately, it's not common. But it doesn't make it abnormal. It's just not common. It's very normal. But again, the reason why this story isn't widely known is because an active social life is not a drug. You can't patent it. It's not a supplement. We cannot and we never will be able to turn it into a pill. We've tried to turn it into a program. We call that Facebook, but that has not worked either. And interestingly, whilst the community movement is in full swing around the world, there is no doubt that we are feeling more and more ostracized and more lonely. Technology is one reason, food is another. So let's take a poll on this. I'll read the results of the second one in a moment, but I'll close the second poll. And in the third poll, we'll ask you, do you find it more difficult to socialize because of your food choices or because of the food choices of others? So let's read the results of the second poll. 55% say, do you feel like you're obsessed about food more than ever? 55 yes, 45% no. Interesting. Just over 1 in 2. And then let's bring up this third poll. Do you find it more difficult to socialize because of your food choices or the food choices of others? Interested to see what you all think about this one. Alrighty, now let's get this up. I'm just having a look at a few of the comments here. Yeah, Debbie says, I love my friends, but lately I can't seem to get motivated to go out. I complain that I don't see anyone, but when the opportunity presents, I can't master the energy to go out. Well, the question is, Debbie, is how empowering is your peer group? Because outside looking in, I would say that if your peer group built you up, if they were magnetizing to you, if they really made you feel fabulous, then it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. I think you'd do it anyway. If you think of anyone that you went to the Wellness Breakthrough with, let's say Jody Basil gives you a call and says, Debbie, I'm in town, let's catch up. Would that feel difficult? Or if Wendy comes in and says, Debbie, I'm on the Goldie, let's catch up. Do you think you'd find it hard? I don't think you would. So I'm questioning, Debbie, who is in your life that's not inspiring you to catch up with? Write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now again, you're part of the blueprint. So you'll see this in the social section of the Exceptional Life Blueprint module. But write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. And then look yourself, have a good hard look at the list and ask yourself, are they empowering? Do they empower you? And let me just take my screen off here for a moment, sometimes fraught with danger. I'll come in here. The quality of your life, Debbie and everyone else, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of your peer group. It's not my line, it's Tony Robbins' line, I'm not going to claim it. But think about your life and think about how happy you are with your life right now. If you are superbly happy with your life right now, I can almost guarantee that you have some wonderful people around you. And if you're not 100% happy with your life right now, I can almost guarantee again that you have some people around you that aren't empowering you, that aren't building you up, that actually really aren't serving you. And you can have a look at this in your personal life and your professional life. If you're dissatisfied in your profession, again, a big part of it will be that you don't feel like your peer group, when you write down the 5 people you spend the most time with, are building you up, are supporting you and challenging you. And in your personal life, same thing. Really, really, really important. Social life, social life is not the foundation of the blueprint, but sometimes I feel like it should be. Life purpose, if you saw that slide earlier, doing what you love and loving what you do, is the foundation when we look at the research. But the same time, a real Adam and Eve question, but if we did not have others around us, there would be no life purpose to live, because our life purpose is always dedicated to others. So ponder that. I'm getting a little bit philosophical here, aren't I? But think about your peer group. All right, let me get the slides up. There we go. Share that screen. Okay. Now, some of you people will know these three girls, and I love them to bits. Karen Smith, closest to me, Cindy O'Meara next to Karen, and Kim Morrison next to Cindy. Now, Karen, next to me there, is a vegan. She loves animals and hates eggs. If she was on the webinar now and she heard me say the word eggs, she'd probably be dry reaching. Cindy in the middle is as carnivorous as they come. She will eat the meat off anything and the bones as well. She would have bone marrow for dinner and think nothing of it. And Kim, well, she's somewhere in between. She eats white meat but cannot bear the look or taste of red meat. She does cook red meat for her son Jacob, but she thinks that is a mean feat of motherhood because she cannot stand it. But you know what? These girls absolutely love each other, and they spend so much time together. And most importantly, they don't let their views or their feelings on food get in the way of their relationships. And this is the secret to life, I tell you. Cindy's not telling Karen to eat meat, and Karen's not telling Kim and Cindy to stop eating meat. When they eat together, they all just pick at what they want and they leave it at that. And this is why it's so important to know that people with average diets yet active social lives live longer than those with great diets and poor social lives. Let this sink in for a moment. This is from a study done by Lisa Berkman from Harvard University. It was done on 7,000 Californians. Again, I'll show this again. People with average diets yet active social lives live longer than those with great diets and poor social lives. This is why I'm constantly telling people, if you eat your paleo or your primal or your vegan or your Mediterranean diet all by yourself because you feel that no one understands you or you can't bear to eat it whilst your friends are eating a gluten-free, sugar and trans fatty acid infested meal, then as brutal as it sounds, you are actually doing your body and your life a disservice. And I'll tell you why. Those with great diets and great social lives live the longest. So burn this in your brain. Great diets for you, great social life. If your mum or your dad has a shocking diet, but you love your mum and or your dad to bits, you've got to hang around them. You've got to spend time with them. If your best friend has the worst diet ever, you've got to hang around them. But it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your needs to meet their needs, okay? That's not what it's about. But you've got to find the love in there, okay? Now, I'll give you an example. John Robbins, who is the heir to the throne of the Baskin-Robbins Ice Cream Corporation, who ostracized himself from the family and is a vegan, his best mate, who was eating Maccas and all that stuff, was diagnosed with cancer. And he said to his mate, you've got to do all this vegan stuff. You cut out all the crap, all that other stuff that you're eating and go vegan. And his mate said, no. I'm just going to go on the chemo and what my doctor says and all the rest of it. And John Robbins was pulling his hair out. He went nuts. And his mate was dying. His mate was in a bad way. And you know what? John Robbins had this epiphany. You know, it's something like this. Love him anyway. Love him anyway. Love him anyway. It wasn't about the food as to whether he loved him or not. It was just because he was his mate. Just because he was his mate. Love your family, your friends, your kids for who they are, not what they do. For who they are, not what they do. What their food choices are has nothing to do with you, okay? What their food choices are has nothing to do with you. You lead by example doing your own thing. You'd be a great example, your exemplification all the way. But socialize, socialize, socialize. Okay. So, are there people in your life that you know you really want to connect or reconnect with, even if that person does have an average diet? I'm telling you right now to go and do it. Write that person's name down. Commit to calling them either after the webinar, depending on what time zone you're in, or call them tomorrow. Organize a catch-up. Organize a catch-up. Now, I'm not saying loosen your own food rules and saying, if you eat great, I'm not saying don't eat great. I'm saying focus more on enjoying your food with others in a social environment. But now I'm going to take a sharp right-hand turn or a left-hand turn, and I'm going to get into this fourth fiasco. It's a little bit, what's the word? It's a little bit deep, a little bit gory, but it's important that we do it. Having a look at what the words, like the comments coming out here. Let me have a look at these comments because there's lots coming in here. Stacey says, this is very much myself and my husband. He just wants Maccas. I just want good stuff. But I've still managed to lose 42 kilos after the birth of my son, even with this. Stacey, high five. Holy moly. Let me take my screen off for a moment. Stacey, high five. That's incredible. 42 kilos in an environment that might not be, you know, that healthy. Far out. That is exemplification to a T. I can just be an example and hope for the best, not nag. Oh my gosh, secret to healthy and happy marriage right there. And as you know, I'm a male, so as a male, we have to always get things right. We have to learn things for ourselves. If you've seen my Big Fat Greek Wedding, you know exactly how the male brain works when they have to make sure that the dad works out for himself that it's a good idea. Yes, husbands do not like to be nagged, but I tell you what, being an example, that is all it is. Be the silent example. You don't have to tell anyone anything. You do not have to tell anyone what to eat or how to eat. The only exception, though, as my parent brain kicks in here, is when you have kids. In my view, you must set an example. You know, our common line is you know, kids, if the X family does it, that's what the X family does. They can do whatever they want. But the Pierce family, this is how we roll. Like it or lump it, this is what we're having for dinner, and this is how we roll. But Stacey, coming back to you, that is, you have blown my mind. You've made my day. That is just the best. Alrighty, let me bring these slides up again. Okay. You're doing great, folks. I'm loving this interaction, loving these comments. This is fantastic. Alrighty, the fourth fiasco, guys, is sadly the disease fiasco. I wish this wasn't one of them, but whilst I've just recommended that we loosen, you know, our social rules in order to re-engage with the people we love more, this does not mean that we throw the bath out with the bath water. Is that it? No, the baby out with the bath water. And we don't throw our hands up in the air and go, stuff all this healthy food propaganda, Marcus. What's the use? I'm just going to go and get a block of chocolate and a can of Coke and catch up with my friends. Even though that might make you more social, this is not what I'm saying, because then remember, the mediocrity products of the world have got you. They've got a customer for life, the mediocre food products, and worse still, you become part of this fourth fiasco, the disease fiasco, and nobody wants that at all. All right, so here it is. Here are the stats I have been sharing on the global obesity and overweight epidemic, and I'll tell you why I'm sharing overweight and obesity, because they are linked to every chronic disease that we know, and I'll share why in a moment, and you'll do a bit of work here as well. I want you to write these down. By 2030, there will be 2 billion overweight and 1 billion obese people. But this slide, sadly, is now old. Up until 2 weeks ago, when I presented this very same webinar for the first time, I've been quoting these figures to show people just how bad the obesity and overweight epidemic is on this planet. The updated figures, which I'm just about to share, and they've just been released in January, they take bad to a whole new level. Here is what we now know. In 2014, there were 1.9 billion people overweight and 600 million people on the planet who were obese. 2014. The other stats that I gave were based on 2008 numbers, which were 1 billion overweight and 500 million obese. If you watch the video that I emailed out before this webinar, if you haven't, just go back to it after the webinar, you would have seen me talking about those numbers. What's disastrous about this, though, is that we have quickly exceeded the worst projections. The 2030 projection of 2 billion overweight people was effectively achieved in 6 years. We got to 1.9 billion by 2014. So let me be clear. The world is moving around you and I at a very rapid rate. People are getting fatter and fatter, faster and faster, and there is no sign of it stopping. So what are you going to do about it? You're in one out of 3 camps here. And let me be very clear. This applies to you even if you are not overweight or obese right now. And let me show you why. You know what? Let me put this fourth poll up. Let's take the results of the last poll. Do you find it more difficult to socialize? No, I can't actually see that. 48 yes, 52 no. That's good. You've got a good resolute bunch on here. When I did this 2 weeks ago, it was 60, 65, 35, I think. Wow. All right, good work. We've got some social butterflies on here tonight that are leading by example. Good work. Well done. All right, so I'm going to put this fourth poll up, guys. Is anyone in your immediate family, spouse, partner, child, sibling, parent, overweight or obese? And this includes yourself. Now, you will find out in a moment what I mean by this, because we are about to actually do some work, folks. So in order to truly understand what all of this means, you're going to need to do a little bit of work, and it's called body mass index. You're going to calculate your body mass index. Now, if you're going, now last time I learned my lesson here. You might want to take a screenshot of this slide. Okay, now if you don't know how to take a screenshot, if you've got a PC, you'll see a key on your keyboard called print screen, or on a Mac, hold down Shift Command 3. That's Shift Command 3, and that will take a photo of your screen and put it on the desktop. So it's print screen on the keyboard for a PC, or Shift Command 3. Now, in order to calculate your BMI, you'll need your calculator or a smartphone, and you'll need to enter the following. Firstly, get your height in meters and centimeters and square it. So in my case, I get 1.77 times 1.77. And you write that number down, which for me is 3.14. Then get your weight and divide it by the answer you got with your height. So for me, I get my weight, which is 73, and I divide that by 3.14. Okay, you can see my score there is 23.24. So the normal range is 18.5 to 24.99. Overweight range is 25 to 29.99. Obese is 30 plus. If you're under 18.5, you are considered underweight. Now, I want you to just make sure, though, that you don't judge yourself right now. Don't get the guilt. Don't get angry. Don't get exhilarated if you're in normal, whatever. I just want you to get clarity. I just want you to know that clarity is the most important and powerful thing right now, okay? So, if you're going there, Marcus, you know, all of this obesity and BMI stuff, it's not that important. What's more important is we've got cancer and diabetes and dementia to worry about. I will tell you right now, as I said to you earlier, this is where I say that what I'm about to share with you, no one else is talking about, or at least it's only very few. Let's start off with cancer. The World Health Organization has recognized that 40% of cancers are a direct result of obesity. What we definitely know is that excess weight causes cancer of the esophagus, pancreas, colon, rectum, breast, endometrium, kidney, thyroid, gallbladder. So now take a look at your BMI. Are you carrying excess weight? If you're overweight or obese, you are at a higher risk of dealing with these cancers than if your BMI is in the normal range. Now, Kim says, ouch, 25.6, ouch. Stacy says 25, getting there. Stacy, incredible. There's no right or wrong, good or bad number here. It's clarity, okay? Kim, if you're going ouch, then you're getting the nod, the hunch, the urge to do something about it. If you're feeling that way, then fabulous, okay? Because you do not want that. You do not want 25.6, okay? That's fair to say, but at the same time, you don't have much to shift. 24.5, 24.7, 24.9, you're cool, okay? So there's not much, there's not a big shift there. All right, now let's look at diabetes. The WHO have also published that 44% of diabetes cases are a direct result of excess weight. That's almost half. So again, look at your score and consider what path you might be going down right now. There you go, Kim. You were 24 before going on your SCO Southeastern Australia 2-month trip. So you know you'll get it back. All right. If that wasn't bad enough, though, I really want you to check this out. I feel for this boy, but I do use him a lot on my screen because it's just so much there. Danielle, 18.87, but so unfit. And that's so good of you to bring that up, Danielle. And that is because when it comes to the fiascos, we believe that we can put all of our eggs in one basket and we can eat beautifully, but if we don't have fitness, then again, metaphorically speaking, if that saber-toothed tiger comes along and we can't run away, no matter how good a nick we were in food-wise, we couldn't really do much. So anyway, all right, if that wasn't bad enough, this is what I want to share with you. This is really what gets to me. A 21-year study in Finland found that people who were obese in middle age were twice as likely to develop dementia when they got old as those who were of normal weight. But then it gets bigger. This is the big one. Particularly for those who also had high cholesterol and high blood pressure in middle age, the risk of dementia was 6 times higher. 6 times higher. Take this a step further. I think of our children. Look at this. 42 million children under 5 who are overweight or obese. Hold on, I'll just come back to this slide. I probably should have said just a couple of other things here. If you're watching this now, thanks to you guys putting your scores in. The normal range, Jody, is 18.5 to 24.99. Kim, this might be the cigarette smoking kid. He's got a fair bit of toxicity in his body. I just want to mention this, okay? If you're not obese, and I know you probably know where I'm going here because I've asked you to fill out the poll, and you're going, Marcus, I'm not obese, this doesn't apply to me, blah, 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 blah. You might be overweight, you might be hovering around 25 or thereabouts, but more importantly, do you or loved ones have high blood pressure and high cholesterol? These, for me, are 2 of the silent killers when it comes to our health. Because, and I say silent because we can't feel high blood pressure, we can't feel high cholesterol, but they're never linked, particularly in mainstream, they're never linked to the most feared means of death, and those 2 are cancer and dementia. When I ever do talks and ask people, what do you fear the most? It's generally cancer and dementia. But I'm spelling them out for you here right now. 6 times higher, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and weight. Another factor to consider then is the people around you. As I say, I'll close this poll in a moment, but as Stacey's shown with her exemplification, do what Stacey's doing and just be an example and look at the results of people around you. I really look forward, Stacey. I'd love to know what inspiration, what effect you've had on others around you, because that's just inspiring. And this is what I kind of hope with this next slide, we can really shift this figure. This figure here disgusts me. 42 million children under 5 who are overweight or obese. This is why it bugs me. I look at Maya, right? Maya, my daughter, is 5, and she still seems so little. And then I need to remind myself that Maya doesn't even qualify for these stats. She's too old. We're talking about people younger than Maya, effectively 2 entire countries of Australia filled with fat little kids, and there's no one else to blame except the people who are buying the food and creating a lifestyle that doesn't encourage the movement. Look, it's quite possible the companies who are promoting their unhealthy products to young children, and hint here, this is why kids TV can be so dangerous. It's not so much for the programming, but for the advertising. The kids are being encouraged to really want these products because of what they're seeing on TV. That's why I think kids and TV aren't a good mix. Kids and YouTube are a far better mix because you can control the advertising a bit more. Kids and watching a DVD, far better. But kids and TV, with a lot of the advertising that goes on, no way. It can be fraught with danger. All right, so let's just be clear here before we move on to the next one. Chronic diseases and conditions, which I call, in the Exceptional Life Blueprint, the A, B, C, Ds of aging, are all linked. They are not separate from each other, as modern medicine would have us believe. They are simply varying stages of the same thing. High blood pressure and high cholesterol, which you cannot feel, are very intelligent warning signals to the body. Let's call them level 1 whispers, right? About a bigger game at play. In the case of dementia, for example, we now know that it takes between 20 and 50 years for dementia to develop in the brain, which is such slow going. It's so unurgent to deal with. It's slow degeneration, but really it's day by day of exercise not done, of junk food consumed, of poor social interactions, of unnecessary worry and stress. It's a day by day, tick, tick, tick kind of thing. And this is where we have to get really urgent about it because no one else is going to get urgent about it. So take stock. ask yourself a few questions here. First of all, are you in middle age? Let's call it 35 to 55. Are you overweight or obese? Do you know others who are? What are you going to do with this information? If it exists, how can you fix or relieve this fiasco in your own family or circle of influence? Do you need to go on the don't buy it diet? Do you need to stop buying the food that your spouse or your kids are demanding of you? Do you need to have that conflict? Do you need to go have a war? Pardon the language, but do you need to have a war with your family about food? Even though it's going to create the biggest rebellion of all time and there might be a war, do you need to go, you know what? As long as I am, particularly if you're a female and you're a mum, you are the matriarch of the family and you do control the household. If you do need to go on the don't buy it diet on behalf of the family, you're going to get some grief, but I tell you what, it could be the best decision you ever make for your family. Now look, if you are watching this and you're feeling a little bit glum or a little bit squirmish, I am going to pick things up for the better in a moment, but I do think it's important that we do not sugarcoat, pardon the pun, this issue. It's just fundamentally important to our quality of life and death. So it is so fundamental, particularly when it applies to so many of us and our kids. So let me get the results of this poll and then we'll move on to the final fiasco. What did you all say here? You said, is anyone in your immediate family, spouse, partner, child, sibling, parent, overweight, obese? Yeah, it's a bit over 2, bit over 1 in 2. That's the common answer tonight, isn't it? About 55-45. So for a chunk of you on this webinar, it's a very big part of your life. Alrighty, so let's get into this. The fifth fiasco. The good old magic bullet fiasco. And as Dr. John Demartini said on episode 3 of 100 Not Out, and I will never ever forget it, people looking for the magic bullet always get shot. Shot in the foot, shot in the heart, shot in the body, shot in the mind and the spirit. They spend their life looking for the fountain of youth only to get to the end of their life full of regret upon realizing there is no such thing. In many ways, this really is a combination of the first 4 fiascos. We've been taught to believe that if we eat right, then everything will be okay, which, as you can probably gather by now, is dead wrong. I know, and I'm sure you know, plenty of people who eat right but hate their life, or are in a toxic relationship, or are dead broke. We've somehow been hooked into the belief that if we are paleo or raw or vegan or primal or vegetarian or whatever it is, then all will be well in our life, or at least we won't develop a chronic disease, or so we believe. Apparently, it doesn't matter if we don't do what we love, or if we don't socialize, or if we, have toxic relationships, or if we avoid exercise. If we eat right, then everything will be okay. When you look at the exceptional human beings, they have struck a balance between the 8 areas of life that we all have in common, which I shared with you earlier, and I'll share with you again now. Let's get a glass of water here. Rightly or wrongly, we don't, though, all give these 8 areas the same attention. And this is where the major consequences and regrets of life come to pass. If you know what this pattern is, then you know where I'm going to go here. If this is the first or second time that you are hearing this, though, then please pay close attention, because this ties the entire webinar together. An exceptional life starts off with knowing what it is that you love to do, and then going out in life and doing what it is that you love. This is your life purpose. That may be being a mum, a gardener, a jockey, a secretary, a cleaner, an accountant, a school teacher, a musician. It doesn't matter. The only prerequisite is that it brings you joy. In the old days, there were really only 2 life purposes for human beings. For men, typically it was to hunt and gather, and for women it was to be nest protectors, which entailed raising the family. Nowadays, in the freedom that we enjoy, there is so much to choose from that so many of us are confused, overwhelmed, and fearful about living our life purpose. On top of that, today's world can be often so stressful and hectic that many people struggle to take the time out from life to contemplate their own life. This is the basis of the non-negotiables of life, what we call the quantity of life essentials. Now, the second ingredient then is an exceptional life, is regular movement. Now, this annoys a lot of people in today's world. And as Danielle was just saying earlier, she's got a great BMI, but exercise and movement hasn't got her to a place yet where she's feeling fit. The issue we face in a world where exercise is so important is that in today's world, it is an alternative. We have cars now. We have different modes of transport. But if you look at the longevity cultures, take Ikaria on the Greek islands as an example. It's hilly and mountainous. If they want to catch up with friends, they have to walk. If they want to eat, they have to walk. They don't have Coles online and special home delivery. Movement is just a way of life. They don't have a choice. And surprise, surprise, these guys don't die from dementia, and their cancer and heart disease rates are astronomically low. Now, the third and final non-negotiable of a great long life is an active social life. Now, if this is all new to you, please draw this diagram, write it down. This is the pillar that, again, brings all of this together. But an active social life, I've gone into a lot of detail tonight on all of this, but these three ingredients, life, purpose, exercise, and social life, are common amongst exceptional people from any culture, any country, any era or generation in the history of time. It could be your next door neighbor or someone on the other side of the world. This is why they are the non-negotiables if you are going to live a great life. Doing what you love and loving what you do, which 90% of people aren't doing, and I know 90% of people on this call right now aren't living their life on their own terms. You're not doing what you love and loving what you do. I've done enough webinars and run enough polls and asked enough people to know the majority of people are not living their life on their own terms. This is the biggest reason why I created this Exceptional Life Blueprint, is because the number one regret of the dying, we get to the end of our life and we regret, and it causes us so much grief and pain that we did not live our life on our own terms. We lived our life on the expectations of others, whether it was our parents or our spouse or our kids or our friends, or God help us, the media. So we've got the non-negotiables, which directly relate to length of life. Okay, now we go into quality of life accelerators. How much freedom and flexibility you get to enjoy are dependent on these factors. If you are going to live to 80 or 90 or 100 and beyond, you want to do it well. You don't want to be sick and dependent on others. Your nutrition then plays a major part in being the exception to the rule, and not being like others, in being the exception. This is for human beings of any age, okay? Whether you're 5 years old or 95 years old. And again, have a look at those obesity figures that I shared earlier about children. In order to create a quality of life that we deserve, we must honor our body and put great fuel in the tank. At the same time, we don't want to become orthorexic and obsessive to the point of causing mental and social stress. So this is the first quality accelerator. Give yourself a score. You might find at the moment you're 4 out of 4. You might find that you're none out of 4, 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4. How good are you going? The fifth element of the Exceptional Life Blueprint is family. Not everyone has a Brady Bunch family life. In fact, most people don't. I bet you everyone on the call here does not have a Brady Bunch family life. If you're like me, you have a super blended family. There's divorces, second marriages, steps, in-laws, and so on. There's no doubt, though, that a family is fraught with clashes because we're all so different. And this is where the opportunity for growth comes in. Family is our greatest teacher because it tests us more than any other part of our life. You will know, and I'm sure you'll agree, that family tests you more than ever. Most people settle for average relationships. And, you know, Stacey was just saying earlier, her husband's into Macca's and she's out there losing 42 kilos. What a test. Now, as I was just saying, most people settle for average relationships within their family, either with their spouse or their parents or their children. If your relationship is fine, and if you say fine, then it's average. There's no exceptional in fine. There's mediocrity in fine. Your relationships with your family, they want to be great, fantastic. And if they aren't, and you know that a family unit will never heal, then being at peace with that, rather than carrying around emotional baggage and resentment for our entire life, is essential. And as a client of mine, Audra, recently said, and I love this slide and I share it a lot, and I use it in my talks now too, life becomes easier when you learn to accept an apology you never got, or an apology you never will get. You can take that from your family and life will be a hell of a lot more fulfilling. Now, the next exceptional part of the blueprint is learning. Most people go to school and then as soon as they are out of school, they stop learning, but not exceptional people, particularly not you on this webinar, because you're learning right now. Exceptionals are thirsty for knowledge. They want to grow and expand, and it might be learning about nutrition or improving relationships. It might be learning how to meditate, play an instrument, learn a language. Not only is this great for the brain, but it's even better for the soul. The soul loves to grow and evolve throughout life. And at the top of the blueprint is wealth or financial independence. In Australia, we spend $114 for every $100 that we earn. Our credit card bill is $49 billion. Look at these stats. Our national average for each of the 15.6 million credit cards in this country is over $3 grand. And that's average. That's mediocrity right there. And again, you know, I come from a place of having once in my life $55,000 in credit card debt. So I'm not saying, you know, this from my high horse here. I've learned the exceptional rules of wealth. I've applied them to my life, and it hasn't come easy. But at the same time, I'm hell-bent on helping people who are in a similar place to where I was to get out of that financial hole. That, like it or not, it does impact every single other area of life. And finally, and most importantly, what encapsulates the entire blueprint is your spirit or your soul or your faith, whatever you like to call it. If you don't put you into this blueprint, then it's information only. It's not personal to you. In addition, whilst most people have a limit or a threshold to their beliefs, at a deeper level, and part of the D&M here, but our soul has no limits. Our soul really does only see the perfection in everything, no matter if we label it good or bad, right or wrong, love or hate. The perfect example of this, and I speak of this regularly, and if you've heard me talk regularly, and if you're at the Wellness Breakthrough, you know I speak about her a lot, is Alice Herz-Sommer. I just love her. She died last year, age 110. She was the oldest survivor of the Holocaust up until her death. She did not hate Hitler. She forgave him for the murder of her husband and other family members. She went on to live a very happy life. Her mantra was, I have no room for pessimism or hate. She was truly a limitless soul and a great inspiration for us all. Her life was encapsulated in an Academy Award-winning doco called The Lady in Number 6. Now, you don't have to write it down because I'll send you the link to that in a summary email. So, are you willing to create the health, the wealth, the relationships, the career, or the entire life of your dreams? If you are, and you're looking for this right now, and you know there's gaps, if you've looked at that blueprint and you know there's gaps in your life right now, I would love to help you. I would love to help you create the life of your dreams. Let me show you my program, the Exceptional Life Blueprint online program. This is my pride and joy. If you know about it, all good and well. If you don't, I'd love to share it with you here. Let me take you inside and show you what the program is all about. It's just starting to rain here, so if you hear background noise, I apologize. We've got storms coming here. Maya isn't going to preschool tomorrow because they've called it off because of the weather. All right, the Exceptional Life Blueprint. It's an online program. You get to have it forever. You know my beef about not having them forever. It's not something that expires. It's yours to keep. Pass it down to your children for generations to come. I truly want the principles of an exceptional life to be shared forever. It's designed to be a 13-week or 90-day program. However, you can do it in any time frame that suits you. You can consume it in 90 hours or 90 days or 90 weeks or 90 months, whatever suits you best. Now, let me take you deep inside this program. Let me take you on a tour. Each module contains at least one training video, which you can also download to an MP3 so you can listen and complete the program anywhere, anytime. Each video normally lasts for anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour. It's designed to help you employ the principles or the secrets of being exceptional in that particular area of your life. Each module allows you to make the shift from mediocre to magnificent, or if you're already exceptional in an area of your life, because all of you on this webinar right now, on average, would be exceptional somewhere between 3 to 7 areas of your life already. So you're already exceptional. So the program is about rounding this out so that all 8 areas of your life become the exception to the rule, to take you to the next level. With each module, you receive a worksheet to help you complete the program and a fact sheet to further explain any content that's been delivered. And then on top of that, you receive recommended reading, recommended podcasts, and recommended videos to take it all a step further. The resources are beautifully laid out for you so you can explore the sections that you really want to learn about more vigorously. I'm not going to lie, this is my life's work. I put my heart and soul into it. I know I've got a number of clients on this webinar tonight. Hopefully you feel the same. You can see that I've put my heart and soul into it. I've made sure that it's very thorough, that it's very organized, and that it's very succinct. Now, when you enroll in the blueprint, you also receive 3 featured interviews. There's one with Bali bomb survivor and mindset master Karen Smith. She reveals her clues on living your life purpose, and she's got a great story to tell because she's coming from the Bali bombing. She really did have to get her life, she really had to take it to the next level. Karen paid me, just a side note, she paid me the biggest compliment I think I've ever received as a journo when she told me that it was the best interview she's ever been involved with. And this is coming from a woman who was featured on 60 Minutes. So that was a real, oh shucks kind of moment. Karen, Thank you, Karen. There's also a feature interview with Changing Habits founder and nutritionist Cindy O'Meara. She goes deeper than ever before into nutrition and really on integrating the Exceptional Life Blueprint, because Cindy, for me, is a modern day living legend who is excelling in all 8 areas of life. And world record holder and founder of 28, the gorgeous Kim Morrison. She is the 3rd feature interview in the program. So that's the core of the online program, and then there's some great added extras in there too. Each week you receive an accountability email from myself for each module to keep you on track and to help you complete the program. And also, what's proven to be one of my favorite parts of this program is our secret Facebook group. We've got a great tribe on there of people eager to help others live exceptional lives. It's a great way to connect with other like-minded people. We even have a group of Brisbane exceptionals catching up for a hot date in the next week or so. Peer group and empowered socializing at its best. I just love that. Now, if you have any questions at this point about the program, just pop them in the comments box. I'll get to them shortly. I'm just going to go through the rest of it right now, and I'll answer any questions at the end here. Now, I designed the blueprint to help you really achieve 3 major results in each of the 8 areas of your life. Firstly, if you're looking for clarity, to remove the overwhelm and to be crystal clear on your standards, your expectations on each area of living. We spoke about this tonight with nutrition, that it's very overwhelming, but there's also overwhelm with our exercise, with our work, our career. Should I be a mum? Should I be working? Should I do both? How do I do it? What do I do? I seem to help a lot of people when it comes to life purpose. Money can be overwhelming. What do I do with my money? How do I distribute it? How do I budget? How do I work it out? How do I create wealth? There are principles, timeless principles, that must be mastered in order to create an exceptional life. And we all deserve an exceptional life. So again, whether it's your life purpose, your movement, social life, nutrition, your family, your learning, your finances, your spirit, the principles of an exceptional life are all laid out before you in this program. No more confusion or overwhelm, which are the enemies of progress. And really, overwhelm is mentally and spiritually paralyzing. I have no doubt about it. Secondly, if you're in need of the confidence that you are living an exceptional life, then I have no doubt that the blueprint does provide that. What you'll also find in doing the blueprint, it gives you the confidence to shift and change areas of your life where you might be mediocre now, because you then have the tools in the peer group, either your own peer group or via the exceptionals, to help you turn it around. Again, the support that everyone gives each other in the Facebook group is phenomenal. And thirdly, as I've just mentioned, is that you get the results. If you're craving better results for your life right now, I have no doubt that the blueprint can help you do that as well. Whether you want greater health, wealth, career, life fulfillment, you can achieve this through the blueprint. This is the whole reason for me for creating it, is so that you can actually improve the quality of your life. Now, before I get into the bonuses and the prices, let me share with you some personal stories of some of the exceptionals that have been with me so far. This one is from Michelle. Michelle says, I've always been pretty savvy with money and I've made some good investments. However, your module on money has made me reevaluate things, put a budget together, start further researching investments. I've also started doing a huge amount of reading around nutrition, wellness, etc., and I am loving it. The blueprint has inspired me to find my life purpose, and I feel the universe is pointing me in a direction which I am passionate about. Thank you, Michelle. This one's from Nicole. She says, the blueprint's unlike anything I've done before. It's new and relevant to so many aspects of my life. Marcus is well researched, really comes up with the goods to challenge your thoughts and the way you live your life. Support from other exceptionals is a valuable bonus. I like that you can work through the program at your own pace. There's no expiry, but that doesn't mean your interest wanes. It's all good stuff and you just want more. This one from Audra. I'm loving the ELB. The caliber of content contained is truly phenomenal. The training is informative and engaging, and I love that I can download parts of the program onto my iPhone and head out for a walk whilst learning how to live a truly exceptional life. Thank you, Marcus, for designing such a unique program. I've become a blueprint addict. Thank you, Audra. And then this one from Cheryl. This is the last one from Cheryl. I would really call the blueprint retraining your brain, giving up your old thinking and giving yourself permission to excel in life. My motto was, why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? But you have taken it to another level, Cheryl, Marcus, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Cheryl. So look, you can see hopefully here the difference that the blueprint is making in people's lives. However, I'm not so bold to say that it's for everyone, and that is why I definitely put in here a no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. And in addition, I don't ask for the online bonuses back, which I'll reveal in a moment. The online bonuses themselves are worth over $1,500. Now, if you know me in the past, I do one-on-one coaching explaining the blueprint, and it would cost a client around about $8,000, about $1,000 a module to go through it with them one-on-one. That's frightfully expensive. Now, the blueprint is nowhere near that much. If I go into a speaking event, normally an hour, 90 minutes, my speaking fee is $2,000. And again, that's only an hour or 90 minutes. But again, thanks to the internet and its ability to share the same information and more and provide accountability in a different way, I'm really happy to be able to say that the Exceptional Life Blueprint is at a very special price, and that is 6 monthly payments of $97 or one payment of $497. The blueprint itself is valued at $1,497. But again, for a limited time and with the bonuses that I'm about to share, you can have it at a down payment of $97 and 5 monthly payments after that. Or if you prefer, you can save a bit of coin, as I said, and have it for one payment of $497. So the question is, are you ready to make 2015 exceptional and the best year of your life? Will 2015 be a copy and paste of other years, or are you ready to do things differently? If you are ready, you will see a button on your screen. I'll just put that up now, and that will take you to the checkout page. You can find out more there and have a look. This is what I want you to recognize is, are you ready to take your life to the next level? Not just one area, I'm talking every single area. So it's not just your nutrition, not just your money, not just your family, it's every single area of your life. Now, I do appreciate that this is not for everyone. You know enough about me by now to know who I am, what I stand for, to know if I'm the right guy to help you to take your life to the next level. But I must mention that this offer is strictly limited. I don't know how long I can keep the program at this price, particularly with the bonuses. Here they are. There's $1,500 in bonuses here to complement the training program. The first one is 35 hours of powerhouse wellness for you. Now, you may know, you may not know, I conduct an annual event called the Wellness Summit. We have over 600 people in Melbourne every year. The speakers so far have included Pete Evans, the beautiful Joe Witten of Quirky Cooking, David Gillespie of Sweet Poison, Nicole Bilsma of Healthy Homes, the Wellness Guys, nutritionist Cindy O'Meara, Karen Smith. Now, you receive the digital video downloads of these summits, and you also get the audio as well. So again, you can access them anytime, anywhere. That's valued at almost $600. The second bonus is the 6-day digital download of my 100 Not Out audio program. It's a recording of a 6-week program I conducted looking at how the most magnificent people ever to live ate, moved, thought, and conducted their lives. It also comes with a video playlist a mile long to truly empower and inspire you to live a truly exceptional life. So that's valued at nearly $200. The third bonus is 2 more online programs, both different in nature. The first is 30 Days to Wellness by Dr. Lawrence Tam. This is designed to help you implement 30 magnificent habits into your life in, you guessed it, 30 days. And the second program is Damian Kristoff's 28-day Lose Weight with Forage program. So if you looked at your BMI and you know that you really want to change that and you want to bring it lower, then this 28-day Lose Weight with Forage program is the way to go. These programs together combined are valued at nearly $200, so we're nudging towards $1,000 in bonuses so far. The fourth bonus is from these two gorgeous women. Cindy O'Meara has written a 50-page report on the cholesterol scam, and from Kim, you receive the ebook which she co-wrote with Cindy called 53 Shades of Chocolate. This is one of my favorites. The 53 recipes all about chocolate, healthy chocolate, in both regular format and Thermomix edition. So you get 106 ways to eat chocolate. That's valued at nearly $20. And then bonus 5 is a bonus module of the blueprint. This is a bonus 14th module. This is all about exceptional productivity. I get into the nitty-gritty of how I actually personally go about planning my own exceptional days, weeks, months, and years. Some may call this just plain old productivity, but I call it turning your dreams into reality and creating an exceptional life one day at a time. So that's valued at $97. And the final bonus for the first 3 people to enroll tonight is 2 one-on-one coaching calls with myself, 30 minutes per call to dive deep into helping you. I find a lot of my clients want my help on support in helping them live their life purpose, whether it's setting up an online business, writing a book, improving their media skills, whatever it is. But at a greater level, I help you integrate the 8 areas of the blueprint into your one exceptional life. Now, after some of my launches and promotions, what ends up happening is some people miss out on these calls, which leaves a bitter taste in their mouth and mine. And then so the softie in me, and I am a bit of a softie, I don't like that. So this is my offer, and this makes me happy, and hopefully it makes you happy too. Anyone who enrolls in the program tonight receives at least one call with me, and the first 3 receive a bonus second call. If you're like me and you get things done when you have someone looking over you, think a personal trainer, then you will love this bonus of the blueprint, because we really make sure that the work gets done. So there's the bonuses, folks. There's over $1,500 in bonuses alone. So let's just do a quick recap before I share with you the Pierce Daily Diet and get into answering your questions. Okay, so here it is. You receive the Exceptional Life Blueprint online program. You get that forever. That's valued at $14.97. You then receive these bonuses valued at over $1,500. You get the Wellness Summit Home Study Program. It's 35 hours of Powerhouse Wellness. My 6-day audio program. 2 online programs that are 4 weeks in length from Dr. Lawrence Tam and Dr. Damien Christoph. 2 ebooks from Cindy O'Meara and Kim Morrison. The bonus 14th module on exceptional productivity. Set yourself up to win. And 2 personal 30-minute one-on-one coaching calls with myself. The total value there is over $3,000. You can have it for one payment of $497 or 6 monthly payments of $97. I'd love to have you on board the blueprint with the other exceptionals and really help you make the rest of your life the best of your life. Now, any questions? I am here. You have put your time into me. I am here to put my time into you. You are amazing. I appreciate your attendance so much. Any questions about the program, put them in there. Any other questions from the webinar, let me know. Let us, I'm more than happy to hang around for as long as it takes. And whilst you're logging those questions, I will share with you the regular days menu at the Pierce family headquarters. Now, Mel says, are there any time restrictions on using the calls? The answer is no, Mel. With a free set of steak knives. I know it's shocking when you're explaining a program. We're always waiting for the steak knives. Debbie, you can, the webinars are recorded. You will get a link to the webinar, and I'm sure you can get them on a mobile phone. All right, so yes, pop in your questions here, folks. Kim says 3 or 5. 3 or 5 what, Kim? The first 3 or the first 5? Did that say, did I have a slide saying the first 3 or the first 5? If I said the first 5, then just make it the first 5. I'm happy to make it the first 5. Again, I'm a softie by heart. I just know that we often do things when it's urgent. We are urgency addicts by nature. It's the way that we get things done. So yeah, I'm happy to make it 5 if I had 5 up on the screen. Alrighty, so what do the Pierces eat on a day-by-day basis? Now, this is breakfast. This was a few weeks back. This is Darby and I. Well, I'm not in there. I took the photo. About to get stuck into an omelette. It's always eggs for breakfast in the Pierce house. If we have a sweet breakfast, one, we're hungrier sooner. Could be a bit more of a sugar burn. Even if it's a smoothie, on a very special occasion, we'd make pancakes, and that might be like our pancakes would be eggs and banana put in the Vitamix. Yeah, so Kim, make it 5. I've clearly made a typo there, so I'm just happy to make it 5. Breakfast, yeah, so if we have a sweet breakfast, we just seem to run out of gas more quickly. So it's generally eggs and greens. It's just, and yes, it could get a little bit boring, but I'm doing my best to jazz it up. But I just love eggs and greens, absolutely love it. And then you can see there's got sauerkraut. The greens are normally kale, zucchini, sometimes broccoli on the screen there. Put some mushrooms in there, sprinkle some tamari on there, and yeah, olive oil, salt as a dressing, love it. Morning tea, could be fruit. This is my favourite morning tea though, if you know me. This is my chocolate pudding cup. If you haven't got this video, I'll send it to you in the summary, but I have 2 videos there on my 2 favourite chocolate recipes. And then, yeah, so that's normally morning tea, and then afternoon tea can often be the chocolate milk, which I'll show in the video there too. And then dinner is often meat and 3 veg. Tonight it was chili con carne with, you know, mince on some sweet potato with veggies, like with salad. So there was, yeah, so salad on the side. So that was dinner tonight. Last night it was chicken. No, last night it was chili con carne. We had the same dinner 2 nights in a row. Night before that was chicken. Yeah, but we're pretty standard, you know, meat and 3 veg. And then lunch, I know I'm going in a weird order here, sorry folks. Lunch is often leftover protein from the night before with a salad. We just have these big platter lunches. Cara says that pudding is the bomb. Yeah, thanks, Cara. I love it. I have one every day, I reckon. And we always laugh amongst ourselves if we're traveling and I don't make one, and we just laugh that we did not have one. How am I still alive not having had a CPC? Yeah, good work, Debbie. Eggs and salad, eggs and greens. Nice one. Yeah, and we love to make a basil pesto. Basil's in season up here. We like a basil pesto dip for the kids, and that's what we have. So that's kind of our lunch, and that's what we love to enjoy. Now, I've just got this slide up here. I've mentioned it briefly at the beginning. If you are truly fascinated by food, and if you're on this food webinar, then I'm sure you are. I'm sure you will love this event that I'm running with the beautiful 5-star spa chef herself, Sam Gowing. I'm running it on the Gold Coast at the QT, which is a beautiful hotel. It's not like a Cavill Avenue hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. It's on Saturday, March 28th. It's going to be 6 hours of fun and inspiration. Sam will be leading a beautiful food demonstration. She's got a real great background in Japanese cooking as well, so she'll talk about ferments a lot. So if you love your fermented foods, there'll be a lot about ferments and Japanese foods, sea vegetables and all those things. I'll be obviously helping people take their lives to the next level. You know what I do. You know what I'm about. But at the same time, I really want to help people turn their passion into profit. There's a lot of that at the moment. A lot of people coming to me wanting to make a business out of their life purpose, helping you take your wealth from average to awesome, whatever it is. But tickets are $97, but there is a 24-hour 2-for-1 offer left that expires tomorrow night at midnight. So yeah, what have we got? 27 hours until that. So if you want a weekender on the Gold Coast, March 28th, I'd love to see you there. I know a number of you. I think Debbie's coming, and a few others of you here might be coming. Don't know where a lot of you are from here, but I know Debbie's on the Gold Coast. If you're Gold Coast, Brisbane, around that area, or if you want to fly up and give yourself a weekend away, this will be a great one. Sam is not turning, I don't know how old she's turning, but it's her birthday on the Sunday. So we're actually doing a VIP Sam's birthday bash on the Saturday night. So the event finishes at 4, but then we're going to have a special dinner afterwards. So Sam, you know, yeah, she consults for 4 Seasons, Guingana, all the big ones. She's a nutritionist. So again, if you're up and around, love to have you there. That's it, folks. All right, there are all the slides. Let me take the slides off. Let me bring me back. Let me put in some. Let me have a look at all of these comments here. So filling and easy to take out with you for the day. Yes, Cara, that is the beauty of a chocolate pudding cup. It is filling and it is easy to take. It's a great traveler. I take it on the plane. I just love having my CPC on the plane. And just getting a water here. And it's awesome. You guys have been great tonight. The chat amongst you all has been super. Now let me see any questions that I may have missed here. Let's have a look here. Love the steak knives, cool. Stacey, how is it dry? It's always dry in South Australia. Raining in Harvey Bay. Tell you what, there's big stuff happening. I don't know enough. I don't watch news. I don't know enough about this weather. All I know is that May's not going to school tomorrow and there's a storm coming in. I know Sam Gowing was meant to be doing a Melbourne masterclass on Monday, but she can't go because her flight's already been cancelled a couple of days in advance. Yeah, Kim, you like that one. Life becomes easier when you learn to accept the apology you never got. Glad you like that one. That's all right, Stacey. That's okay. You won't be able to come to Queensland. That's okay. If you don't put it in your trolley, your kids can't eat it at home. Good call, Debbie. Kim says, very cute. Oh, thanks. Maya is beautiful. Kim says, the first rule of zombie apocalypse is cardio. I like it. You know, on the other webinars I've been running, I'm saying the first rule of the morning is a cold shower. That is also not a bad rule. That's not a bad zombie apocalypse one here. Good on you guys for being so open about your BMIs as well. Great accountability. But again, I think Danielle hit the nail on the head. You know, she's got the BMI within range, but you can't just rely on food. Food is a great way to keep your body in a normal weight range. But what a lot of people recognize is that, particularly as they get older, they have got a normal BMI, but their muscle to fat ratio gets worse and worse as they get older because they're sedentary. They're like me right now. They're sitting down and they're not exercising regularly. So they might be 65 kilos, 55 kilos, 50 kilos their whole entire life. And so their BMI is always acceptable, but their muscle to fat ratio declines and declines and declines. Their fat percentage gets higher and higher and higher, and they become weaker and weaker and weaker. And that again means that they feel so unfit. And so that's why the exercise factor, and exercise is really one of the biggest factors as well with preventing dementia. So I remember we interviewed Dr. Michael, Dr. Michael, his surname's escaping me. But we used a cardiologist, not cardiologist, he's on the board of Alzheimer's Australia. This was on 100 Not Out. It was a wonderful interview. And he said, you know, the best thing about preventing chronic disease is that when you do something like exercise, you are multitasking because you are preventing all of the chronic diseases. You know, when you eat well, you're multitasking, you're preventing all the chronic diseases. But again, you have to incorporate all those areas of the blueprint that I was talking about. When you socialize, you're preventing the chronic diseases. But you also have to do what you love and love what you do. You've got to learn how to do what you love and what you do. What other questions did we have in here? Both my parents are overweight, obese, and I feel like I've been battling overweight my whole life. Finally, at 33, the scars are starting to shift. Nice work, Rebecca. That's awesome. Congratulations. We're the same age too, Rebecca. Did the poll, one of the polls not happen? Sorry. Yeah, the planet's going to tip to the other side from where all these people are. Let me just have a look at the comments here, seeing if I've missed any questions. 80-20 rule all the way. Love the 80-20 rule. And I think if you look at Exceptional Lives, they love the 80-20 rule as well. They're not fixed. They're not so like rigid about their food. And they don't say, I can't have that. There's no such thing. I'm constantly telling Maya at the moment, I think she's a little bit annoyed with me. And she says, Dad, can I have this? Oh, sweetie, it's not a question of ability. It's not can or can't. You can. You know, even if I said no, you could still go and get it. It's not a question of ability. The wiser question is, may I have it? But food is choice. You can have Macca's if you want to. It's not that I can't have it because I'm paleo. It's not, well, you can. You're just choosing not to. I can't have it because I'm vegan. Well, you can. You're just choosing not to. Life is all about choice. We get to choose the life that we live. Just having a look at these. There's so many comments tonight. I don't normally get so much chatter. Melbourne's such a foodie city. You're talking about the Paleo Cafe. We were in Mornington the other week and it was closed. I was shattered. It was a Saturday. The Paleo Cafe was closed. I've still never been to a Paleo Cafe. Can't quite knock it. Can't quite time it properly. There was so much chatter that Meredith was trying to concentrate on what Marcus was saying at the moment. Nice call, Meredith. Cara, I would never let food or fear of food stop me from socialising with my family and friends. But Cara, it's the Cara that I know and love. You girls have got a really good social network. Doesn't matter if you're all on different diets. You're a bit like Cindy and Kim and Karen. You love each other anyway. Now, what else has been going on here? Cara. Big foodies, big discussions about big foodies. Rebecca says, my boyfriend and I are big foodies, so my current healthy food choices are making things a little trickier. But I'm being that annoying person at the moment who's trying lots of alternatives and asking what's in my food. So far, no one's been too annoyed by my questions. Well, you know what, Rebecca? Probably because you've mastered the art of asking it well, and you're probably not being too hoity-toity about it. You're being cool about it. Debbie, what are you blaming your shift work on? Just having a look here. All right, I'll scroll back up the top because I know there's other questions coming in. Someone loves Nat. Wendy says, I finished a role today with the Faculty of Medicine to complete the admissions process for this year for our medicine course. I now go back to my other role with the Director of Curriculum in the Faculty of Medicine. I'm so excited as she's focusing on introducing more nutrition to our medicine course, as right now they are only doing 1 unit. Can you believe it? I so wanted to be there to help her. I then had a 1-hour massage and then a chiro adjustment, feeling blessed and blissful. Sorry for the essay, it was a big day. That's awesome, Wendy. Good on you, Wendy. Cara says, Leah, the best I ever have, but I feel so much more relaxed about it because I don't feel guilty for having, for example, good fats. Well done, Cara. Nice work. All right, I'll have a look back at all the other ones. I'll come back up the top now. You're all chatting amongst yourselves here. Great salad with macadamia nuts. We're very lucky to have each other. Of course. Paleo Cafe in Burleigh Heads is good. I'll have to get up there. Debbie, I'll let you know when I'm there. How do I stay motivated to watch and hear any tips? Kim, with all the vids in it, how do I stay motivated to watch any tips? My interest level with all the vids just nosedives after a few days after the vids. Is this, sorry Kim, is this Exception Life Blueprint videos? If it is, because videos can be a bit long, then download the MP3 version. That's why I put the MP3 videos. I've got online programs that don't have the MP3s, and it's just annoying because I don't like watching an hour of video, you know? I don't know how you guys do. I don't know. I mean, when I do webinars, I'm fascinated how you're all listening to this right now. Some of you might be doing the ironing and not watching any of this. You're listening to it. Some of you might be watching me, if you are. But yeah, how we absorb these days, we're going back to, and that's why podcasts are so popular, because it's audio. Even though video is a great way to communicate, audio is big. So yeah, Kim, if you are in the blueprint and you are losing interest with the videos, then just download the audio versions and put that on your phone or your MP3 player and listen to it when you're driving or the rest, because videos can be difficult to keep engaged. Can you throw back what's on offer on screen for a moment, please? All right, I'll do that, Mel. Just check. I'll do that. What's on offer? Share. Sure, this won't be hard. Just bring these controllers up. I think that's it there. That's what you want. There are all the parts of the blueprint. Now, just have a look at the rest of the Category 5 Cyclone due to Vic Gladstone. Gosh, Category 5 Cyclone. You go for all at the same time. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds a bit like being one of the Incredibles. Can't wait to start. Oh, good on you, Meredith. Good on you, Meredith. Great to have you on board, Meredith. Well done. Can't wait to have you as part of the Exceptionals. If you're on Facebook, I'll get you set up as soon as this webinar is over. I'm going to go back to everything here. Let's have a look. Yes, Debbie, you're going to be at the QT with Audra and Belzon. Heather. Now, Heather, are you coming to the QT? I thought you said in an email that you are, but unless the ticket was put under a different name, I don't think I see you on the list. So let me know. Nothing wrong with being obsessed with footy. That's right, Wendy. Go the Mighty Hawks. Go the D's. You owe me a chat MP all about footy. Can we have a webinar dedicated to footy? That would be awesome. Absolutely, I'll do that. Did anyone else just lose sound? Firefox keeps crashing. Hi, I'm here. Oh, I'm tight. Quality of the images is blurry. Yeah, that's often with internet quality, Mel. My internet sometimes average, but it all comes down to how your internet is. Cool. Righto. Alrighty. Kim says, food is good. I know what's wrong, but need more veggies, fresh, good, green. But good food is good. Need motivation to keep up the exercise and the good eating. So Kim, I would say, again, coming back to social and peer group, that it comes down to the quality of your peer group, because often if your peer group eats well, then you will eat well. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around. So if the 5 people that you hang around, just use a basic example, if they're saying, come on, let's all go out for dinner, and you end up at some average restaurant with, you know, gluten galore and it's just so tricky to get anything, then maybe you need to befriend Debbie and catch up for lunch at the Paleo Cafe or wherever it is, because that might be, social group might be a factor. Just a factor. It might not be, but it might be. What else do we have here? Eat fresh foods, not dead foods. Good work. Meredith says, I gave up wheat grains and sugar 13 weeks ago and have never felt better. Never going to go back. Love whole foods. Good work, Meredith. I'm going to put up on Facebook tomorrow a link to the catering show. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. I only found out about it last night. Sarah shared it with me. It is hilarious. Takes the mickey out of things like the Thermomix and I Quit Sugar and just anything funny. You need to have a sense of humour because it does take the mickey out of things that we all probably know and love, like a thermo. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Wendy says, bring on the footy webinar. That would be funny. Alrighty, now let me have a look here. Good stuff. Meredith, you're in. I see your orders come through, Meredith. Well done. Well done. Alrighty, now let me have a look here. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Got everything. I'll take that screen off. Mel, if you're there, I'll take that screen off. Maybe yeah, it's probably Kim. But that's okay. When you're over, I'll take that screen off. Wendy. Alright. Cool. Well, I think I've answered all the questions, folks. Good, you got that? No worries. Good. Mal, if you've got any questions, let me know. Okay, I'll send an email shortly. I haven't seen an order come through from you, Mel, but I'll send an email shortly with a link, that same link. And that's for all of you if you're still considering your options. I'll send a link with all of the links to everything I spoke about tonight in the webinar, and I'll also include a link to that special offer, so that you can take that up. Yeah, cheap flights. There are cheap flights at the moment. Fancy a trip over? Get on board. Alrighty. All right, folks. Well, it's 9:45. I went a little bit longer than I normally do. Hope you have enjoyed this. Thank you for staying on. 104 minutes. You guys are good. Thank you so much, guys. You are amazing. Have a fabulous Friday. Hope you've had a great Thursday. Bedtime for me, probably bedtime for you. And if you are in this cyclone-affected area, stay safe. Batten down the hatches. We'll be battening down the hatches ourselves. It is raining here. Just the beginning, the calm before the storm. But thanks again, folks, for joining me tonight. Really look forward to working more with you. If you're part of the Blueprint, thank you so much for your support. If you're considering it, as again, I'd love to have you part of the Blueprint. And if not, I'd love to continue to engage with you through Facebook and through the emails. I know I send a few emails, but I hope you're okay with that. And again, I just like to engage. And that's why I love live events, because this is awesome. This is the second best. This is the silver medal. Live events best because you get to kiss and hug and high five and say hello. Webinars are second best, and then I'll probably say podcasts are third because you can always go back to them. They're just always there. But again, guys, many thanks again for joining me tonight. Until next time, as always, may the rest of your life truly be the best of your life. Mwah. Sweet dreams.